What's your favorite film adaptation of a children's book? This movie walks so that Into the Spider-Verse could run. And honestly, we really let them cook with this one. It's day 78 of 365. Today's movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Directed by Lord and Miller, who are setting the table with at least 4 more movies on the Daily Stub reviews. It also stars Bill Hader and Anna Faris. And listen, our table is set here. Ignore the pun. As a teen, I remember being trepidatious about seeing this movie. I remembered the book from being a kid, but I assumed it was going to be a movie for kids. I wasn't aware of Sony's game at the time. They were really great at making movies that were funny for the family. There's a distinction to be made between children's films and family films, and this is definitely the latter. Not knowing how funny this dynamic directing duo would be, I actually found out recently they were fired from this movie before being rehired after rewriting the entire thing to add a little bit more character into it. Honestly, if I had a single complaint about the movie, it would be the lack of character. So to know that there was a version with less is actually kind of crazy to me. Amy Pascal really set a good precedent when she passed those notes down to them upon their rehire. My recent rewatch, I had actually forgotten how funny this movie was until I started watching it again. This is a kind of comedy we don't get a lot of. This is a very Zucker Brothers style of joke a 30-second, joke a minute, really rapid fire kind of stuff. Stuff that's happening not only in the foreground within the character interactions in the script, but in the background and set design as well. There's honestly just so much to like here, so let's jump into the 3 things that I love about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. The first thing that I love about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is that it's cringy, and that's okay. I think movies like this tend to try to make their main characters too cool for school, and that often plays well, but it gets kind of samey after a while. For us to have this Flint Lockwood character that's awkward and nerdy and not in a cool way, in a much more relatable kind of autism-coded way, I really enjoy that in a lead character. This makes him a little less accessible, but the book itself is weird and kind of odd. It's marching in a 7/8 time signature instead of a normal 4/4. And so I like that the main character reflects the feeling that you get from reading the book. It's just trying to do a weird, cool side thing that you've never seen before. I remember when the book came out as a kid, and the title itself, I almost understood because of watching the weather and the news with my parents. Cloudy, I understand weather, with a chance of meatballs. It's such a fun, sideways, goofy thing, and they incorporate all of that into Flint Lockwood's character. That is such excellent storytelling, it's such excellent writing, and understanding the source material is really what's key and on display here. Just remember, this is a short book that they're adapting into a fully 80-minute child's or family animation, and so to see that play out equally across not only his character, but everyone in this town. The entire town is as weird as the book, and Flint Lockwood is a perfect main character for this weird little town. The second thing I love about this movie is that it's a prediction not only of the tech bro in Flint Lockwood's character, but also kind of a cautionary tale mixed in with a parable. If Elon Musk took a couple notes from Flint Lockwood, we'd have a better world. It's okay to want to invent things, to want to improve our world, to want to add to the overall experience. But when that leads to human suffering, you have to take a step back and correct your mistakes. It's okay to admit when you've messed up. It's even better to take responsibility and go out of your way to make things better in that case. Flint Lockwood faces all this down. He knows he's the person that has to dive into that hole at the end because he's the one responsible for all this. No one else can do it, even if someone else is willing to. I think our current billionaires could really take a lesson out of this notebook in that, like, we don't think that you're evil for achieving. We think you're evil for the way in which you achieved. And the only way to undo that is to make it right. You can't just ignore it. You can't just throw yourself away in the trash because you're trash. You have to actively recycle yourself into something better. That way the trash has a second life and is able to help us. There's a big lesson locked into this kids movie, and it's kind of crazy to me that the lab coat, crazy hair, nerdy references, and the internal sense of coolness isn't speaking to people more as this being the Elon Musks of the world. The third and final thing that I love about this movie are the gags. This is such a funny movie front to back. And instead of list a bunch of gags that I really love, I wanted to boil it down to one that is just a perfect moment for me. But to do that, let me explain how good this movie is at being itself. At the beginning of the film, we see a montage of the inventions that Flint has created since his childhood. These inventions all come back across the finale of the movie to reincorporate themselves back into the plot. They weren't just throwaways. They were meaningful, useful tools that could all pay off at a certain point in his life. My favorite example of this, however, is the TV that can change its own channel. It stands up and it comes to you, and then you can change the channel, and then it takes off to run off into the world. What a great gag in and of itself. But later, and this is my favorite part, is when the disaster of this disaster movie begins. There's a crash through a window of an electronics store exposing the TVs to the world. A guy runs in and steals a TV, and then our TV runs in and steals a guy. If that is not one of the funniest little setup payoffs that could happen in a movie, and they come back later when the crowd gathers around Flint for the finale, the guy is still sitting on top of the TV, having been, I guess, adopted, if not kidnapped by it. This kind of animation stuff makes me giddy. It makes me so happy and makes me laugh so much to see these kind of things incorporated into a movie. This is the kind of stuff that you know they were geeking about while they were animating the film. These are jokes that take months, if not years, to pay off finally. And so to see it pay off so beautifully and so fun, and it's just goofy. It's here just to give us a little gag of a good time. I absolutely adore it. I'm curious, what's one of your favorite Sony animations? Does Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs make your top 3, or are we just an Into the Spider-Verse country now? I think this one technically counts as a disaster film, so we're just going to keep on the disaster films with our next movie. We're talking about 2012, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow.